I'm Carrie. And if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for checking us out.
Go ahead and, if you would like, introduce yourself in our Ravelry group, which is called the Knitorious Podcast on Ravelry. We'd love to hear where you're from and see what you like to knit. And if you've been watching us, thanks for coming back. We're hoping that this is the end of our long hiatus.
We say that every month when we record an episode.
But we did okay. It hasn't been too long now in between.
Less than a month.
Yeah.
Which is great. We have 2 episodes within the same month, which never happens. So, look at us.
And a vlog of Vogue Knitting Live. So if you haven't seen that and you want to check it out to see what we got up to, go do it. And I'm sure we'll talk about it this episode too. But I'll put all of our information down below, our Instagram and Ravelry and all that other good stuff. Kelly has a... Oh my gosh, I don't even remember what it's called. What's that thing where you get
Periscope.
on it? Periscope. Kelly has a Periscope. Sometimes we do that. So, we'll put that on it. And we're coming to you from Pennsylvania in a small little town near Lancaster. So...
I just stopped at our favorite coffee shop, Folklore, in Elizabethtown.
It's the best local coffee shop.
It is the best. The people are always really, really nice, and it always smells good because their food is awesome. The line was bananas, though, because it's really muggy here today, and it's kind of dreary and wet, and everybody was lined up for coffee. I held some lady's wallet so that she could wrangle her children.
So this might be a longer episode, because we both have, I have a lot of stash enhancement from Vogue Knitting Live. She did better than me. She was more self-restrained. I didn't really have any restraint. I mean, I had a little bit of restraint, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And,
So, finished objects for this week. I was like a finished objects machine in the past few weeks. I think because I knew we were going to New York City for Vogue Knitting Live, and I knew the weather wasn't going to be the greatest, so I wanted fun hand-knit socks to take with me. So my first finished object is my Christmas Eve cast on.
It's a really great stripe pattern.
So these are just a plain vanilla sock with coordinating heels, toes, and cuffs. The yarn is something I picked up at Joann's. I don't even know what line it is, but the colorway is called chili, which I don't really understand because I would picture, and it's spelt like spicy chili, not like burr, I'm cold.
Maybe because of the like chili pepper color, and it has like little
chili Christmas Eve cast on, and I have both of them done. And I actually didn't do any like weird things with these because in my next finished object, I've been working on these Felici socks for 100 years. I cast these on originally in September or October, and I had knit both socks using the geek sock pattern, and I tried them on and they wouldn't even go over my toes because when I was doing the slip stitches to make the geek socks, they got really tight. So anyways, I ended up doing them and then put alternating toes in. The alternating heels, I was like, okay, yeah, I got this. And for some reason, when I got to this one, I thought I had done an alternating toe on this one, but I didn't. It was right in the bag. I could have pulled it out and looked, but I didn't check. So I'm calling these my sisters not twin socks, but I'm loving them. Nice. This was also something comfy to have on at Vogue Knitting Live.
I also finished my Christmas Eve sock, and I still have to weave the ends in, but I have them on sock blackers. Yarns everywhere.
Do you want me to?
So these are my Hermione's Everyday socks.
Yeah,
my Christmas Eve socks.
So you can sit back.
The yarn is Woolen Vine Yarns in her Stellar Banshee colorway, and it's funny because one sock is way more colored. I don't know, how would you say that? Way more speckled than the other, so I know exactly which one I was working on Christmas Eve. That one. And I used my carbon size 1 needles for these, and it's been a while since I used just DPNs to do socks one at a time, so that was fun, and I really love this Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern, so I'm definitely going to be doing some more and submitting them to KT's Harry Potter cowl along. So
it's so funny to feel like I have a half object that's a Hermione's Everyday Sock, and it's so funny to feel the gauge difference between how Carrie knits. She's a really loose knitter, and I'm a really tight knitter. My Hermione socks are not stretchy like this at all. Everything that I knit ends up feeling like canvas because I knit so tight.
Hers is really tight. It's true how it makes the fabric different.
Yeah, and like my socks basically could stand up on their own.
It's not like so loose that it's too loose, but it's definitely loose.
It's looser than mine.
It's not tight, for sure.
And that's what, you were talking about the difference in the speckles. That's what I love about hand-dyed yarn. It really gives it that, like, unique individual look. Because if you get something commercial, you can say, yeah, they match better, but I think this is so much more personality. And like you said, you can remember which one you knit on Christmas.
Yeah, so and this heel is the modified Eye of the Partridge. So it has the 3 garter stitches on the end, which I actually really like the look of.
I didn't say the heels on mine. I did the Kiss the Partridge heel from Shauna Stitches. She shared that with us to test knit, and I tried it on both these pairs. I really like the heel. It goes in fast, and you don't have to think about doing the decreases afterwards. But because my feet are so big, it doesn't fit my heel really, really well. So I did it, and it kind of works, but there's just not enough. So yeah, finished objects. Do you have anything else finished?
I don't think so.
Last episode, I talked about a messy bun hat that I had knit for a coworker in exchange for a pair of LuLaRoe leggings. She brought the hat to me the other day at work, and her dog had gotten it.
Aww.
And it was like huge pieces of string hanging off.
Oh my gosh, that's
She's
awful.
like, you're gonna be so mad, can you fix this? It's coming from, but it's definitely discouraging when she brought it and was like, here. Yeah.
Yikes.
So that was a finished object, and now it's completely unfinished because I had to undo the whole thing. Anyways.
So let's get into our whips. I'll show I've been doing the Cozy Schlanket Mystery Cowl by Mina
I want to do this now. I'm seeing everyone's, and I love them. It's
by Mina of Knitting Expat. So the first 3 clues are out. There's one more clue. It's coming out tomorrow. Today's Saturday. It's coming out tomorrow, Sunday. So if you don't want a spoiler, I would look away now. But I'm using this Cascade 220 in worsted weight. I finished clue number 3 yesterday. It's getting pretty big, and it takes longer because the rows are so long.
Look at it.
Actually, it goes this way.
So here's the wrong side.
You can't even stretch it out all the way anymore.
What size cord is this? Is this from your knit pick set?
So I think it's a...
Oh, they're color-coded now.
32? I want to say it's
huge.
32.
Anyways,
so I'm glad you brought up the needles because these are my Knitter's Pride Dreams, and I got them for my birthday, and they're interchangeable. It's an interchangeable set, and I am in love with these. I would highly recommend them if you're looking for an interchangeable set. It's super smooth, and the join is very smooth, and the cords are very bendy and flexible, so I love that. And yeah.
It's like, here's one half, and then just picture what the other half would look like. I love the center. I always call it the spine of the shawl. Like, I think that's so pretty.
I really like how the pattern kind of thing that she came up with. So she made it in such a way that every one of the 3 colors is going to cross together at one point.
When you first started this section, I was worried that these 2 colors would be too similar.
It depends on the light. So like
really
right now
like
you can tell they're definitely different. So, and it's so warm and squishy.
It's going to be, I have my campside shawl at work that's huge and has this eyelet.
Yeah.
A similar eyelet pattern, and I wear it constantly because our building is always so cold. Yay, that's pretty.
So that's that.
So I have some works in progress. This one's a half object. I just finished last night, and I actually sewed in the ends, which I never do. This is my Hermione's Everyday sock.
Oh my gosh, it does feel so different. Like,
my fabric is completely different than what Carrie makes.
It's crazy.
I know. And because I do knit really tight, though. So this sock yarn is Yakagani Yarns. She has, the dyer of Yakagani Yarns also has a podcast. It's called Knit Up River, or Knitting Up River. I bought this at Knitter's Day Out, and it's actually a sock duo set. So the main color is called Grello. And then it comes with heels and toes.
It's amazing. I'm so jealous. I want one.
I obviously love yellow.
That color is just
And I was really excited. I finished this yesterday, which was Inauguration Day. So it was a bright part of my day. Oh, and I learned something. After our last podcast, I had said something about the socks being the same length as my arm. The podcaster from the Corner of Craft.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
She was like, just so you know, everyone's feet are the length of their forearms.
I literally went like this. It's true, look!
I will now, I won't be taking my shoes off to measure my socks anymore. I'll just be like, yep, I have to keep going.
Seriously, did you guys know that?
I feel like everyone's like, oh, duh. And here, when she commented, I was like, she must think I'm the dumbest person on the planet.
I knew that at one point.
Well, I knew, your fist is the same size as your heart.
We're getting so dark. Why is that happening?
This is a magic trick to me. And now I just feel like I have obnoxiously long forearms, too.
Basically.
But that's one of my, it's a half object. I haven't cast on the other one because I just finished last night. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do today.
And along with your sock progress, I think I showed these before, but I'm still working on my Felici, this is the sprinkle colorway, and I put in, I'm actually right in the middle of a row because I got really lazy. And I'm doing the Fish Lips Kiss like I love to do when I do 2 at a time socks. This is on my Addy size 1 sock rockets. And yeah, they're just very soft and squishy. And if you haven't yet, I would recommend trying socks 2 at a time. I love doing them toe up. A lot of people will do 2 at a time, but they start at the cuff and work down. I really enjoy starting at the toe and going up.
I want you to teach me that before I leave today. Because if I have the problem of doing my socks 1 at a time, cuff down, and then I was talking to Irina from Flying Fibers about this, I get to that last inch where I know I should go a little bit further before putting my toe in, and I'm like, nope, it's fine. And then I put the toe in and they're literally an inch too short.
Yeah.
So they're easier to try on when they're toe up because it's just slipping it over.
And it looks really nice.
That's
just cute. The fact that you don't have to do a Kitchener is nice. Well, I don't mind doing Kitchener. I actually kind of like it, but it's good. I mean, it's a nice difference today. Yes. So that's my other whip.
I have one other work in progress. And it's interesting because a lot of people are talking about, at the end of last year, they were doing the whip down where they were trying to get rid of their works in progress. I looked the other day. I don't think in the 2.5, 3 years that I've been knitting, I've ever had more than 2 projects going at once.
I don't know if I believe that,
I've had more than 2 going, but I've been actively working on all of them. But anyways, right now I only have...
I don't know if I've had more than 3 at a time.
1.5, because that other sock is done.
I had my sweater for a while.
Oh, I wanted to put this on a longer needle.
That's alright.
Okay, so... This is my other work in progress. Olé! It's like
a
clown collar.
Mexican hat.
No, if I could just go right to the circus with this. What it actually is, I'll try to spread out part of it. This is the Camilla shawl from Anthology 1. And I am using...
Look at this, by the way. I think someone's dog got to that.
My dog.
Most likely.
It's Hudson. I tell you, he only likes the good stuff. He chewed a $300 textbook and that. This is how much of the first skein I have left. This yarn is a Cascade Aran Splatter in the primary colorway. So I didn't realize it was going to do this, but it color stripes and splatter.
And you didn't know it was going to do that.
And I thought it was just going to be more variegated.
Yeah.
But I was asking Chris this morning, because, he's so into knitting, what he thought of the colors, if I should keep going, because I wasn't loving working on this. But I think I am really going to like it. It's a really shallow, more like a shoulder wrap than an actual shawl. But yeah, it has these really pretty fans on the bottom. And then it goes into just stockinette at the top. Cool.
And then the other thing we're both working on is our granny stripe crochet blankets. Last time, mine was like a headband. This time it's more like, I don't know, a belt. Oh my gosh, what is happening? So I actually love this color combo currently. Don't you, Kelly?
Yeah.
They go together really well.
That
was
cute.
Convincing. It's totally like a belt now. It's more than a headband, guys. And Kelly was saying that hers keeps her really warm, and I'm like, yeah, mine too.
And then I said, well, maybe I just picture like Stuart Little.
It's a blindfold.
It's so weird. You're like a knitting superhero. That could be your costume.
Yes!
Dun da da! It's
Knitorious!
Alright, so this is mine.
See the difference?
I feel very proud of this. I have to say, of all of the things I've ever made, and I made, like, I felt so bad. Somebody at Vogue Knitting Live asked what pattern this was, and I could not. I like the biggest
You
brain
came up with
dump.
an answer, like, super fast, and you were like, wait, no,
I told
that's
her
not it.
one name, and it completely wasn't, and then I felt bad. This is the Cameo shawl, and I'm really proud of this. I'm proud of everything I knit, but this is, like, fun. This is me in a knitting project. Spots of, like,
I like the
colors.
highlighters in there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I saw, I was watching Jacqueline from Brooklyn Knit Folk, and she's like, I'm not just putting any old colors in here. She's doing a lot of neutrals.
Hers is so pretty.
And, like, pops, and I thought that was cool that she has, like, a rhyme and reason to hers. Mine, I'm just kind of like, if it goes with the color currently, then I'll put it on, so.
Someone else is doing all of the legacy knits. They did a 24 mini skein set, and then a full 25th skein for Christmas, like an advent calendar. Someone's making their crochet blanket with all of the mini skeins, which I think is so cute.
Can I just say, I am really upset because I really wanted to hit the Legacy Fiber Arts update today and get those Stars Hollow mini skeins.
You have to be, like, on it.
Well, I forgot. I was all about hitting it
on
at 10, and I remembered at, like, 10:40.
Yeah.
Womp.
They're coming out with a men's of Stars Hollow, so I told Chris I would try to get...
I really wanted the ladies of Stars Hollow, so...
I want to see what Luke
Maybe they'll
looks
do
like,
more.
and then get Luke and make socks from us.
Well, yeah. There's always... And also, Kristen also had an update last night, and I also forgot about that until about 10 after 7, so I'm just failing at these updates.
I've been seeing all of them and thinking, I told myself after Vogue Knitting Live I wasn't going to buy yarn until March. So
disgusting.
The bottoms are felted already.
Okay, so that's all our whips? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're on to the longest, what I think will be the longest segment, and this is our stash enhancement segment, and we're going to talk about Vogue Knitting Live. So,
before you get started with that, we have a swap announcement towards the end of the episode. So if you are not interested in the stash enhancements, but you want to hear about being a part of our Podiversary Swap, she'll put the timestamp. And by she, Carrie does all the editing, so if you don't like it, it's not my fault, it's hers. Anyways, so we have this past weekend, if you have an Instagram or have ever been on Ravelry or the internet in general, you know this past weekend was Vogue Knitting Live in New York City. And Carrie and I decided in late December that we were going. And it worked out really, really well. Last January, my sister-in-law moved to New York City for a job and has an apartment in Lower Manhattan, about 6 blocks from the 9/11 memorial, so she is like right at the bottom of the city. Text her and asked if we could stay at her apartment with she and her roommate, and she gave us a place to stay, so we hopped on the train. And if you're interested in all of that, you can watch our vlog.
Yeah, we left on Friday. right after school around 4, and we stayed Saturday night and stayed Friday night and Saturday night, and we came back late Sunday. We had a nice full weekend in New York, so we're very thankful for that. And
I have to say, we did not have, Monday was Martin Luther King Day, so we didn't have students in our building, but we did have an in-service. I felt like I had a yarn hangover on Monday. I woke up and was like, okay, well, I know, like, I'm going to work. We have a teacher work day. I had to work on my website, and thankfully it was just like an easing back into it, because I was so, not even tired, just like still trying to come down off of the excitement of the weekend. Yeah. And I think it's part of it is like, for me being in the city, you're constantly having to move at a fast pace, and then coming back to Lancaster where you like get stuck behind a buggy. Yeah,
it was just very overwhelming, even though it was a fun weekend.
It was the best kind of overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. I had off Monday, and I worked from home on Tuesday, and I still, on Tuesday, could not focus. Like, I could not, for the life of me. I just kept thinking about yarn and the people we met and the weekend, and it took me, like, half a week to get back into my routine life and not be so overwhelmed and distracted. So
then every time someone posted one of their vlog episodes from the weekend, I'd try to take a little break and watch it, and I got all sentimental. I'm like, oh, it's such a special feeling being a part of something, and everyone was so nice, and we got to meet KT, and we sat with Mina and Eric and Kel C from Primrose Yarn Company, and we met a ton of other people, and everyone was so nice to us, and it was exciting.
We didn't do any classes this time around, but we had 2 days at the marketplace, and it was super busy on Saturday. Like, you couldn't even walk, and I know we expected it to be busy, but I don't know if I expected it quite like that.
No.
At one point, you couldn't even move. Like, even the aisle was clogged with people, and they weren't moving. Yeah. So that was a surprise.
If you've never gone before and you're thinking about going, and you can do this, do 2 days. Do Saturday. Saturday was a good time just to get that buzz and the feeling of being around a bunch of people who do the same thing you do. And then I kind of like flagged things in my mind that I wanted to go back to. And Sunday is where I spent the majority of my time and money, because you could actually get into the booths and see what people had and touch things and pick them up and put colors together.
Yeah, I actually did buy a lot on Saturday, but I also bought some on Sunday, and it's kind of, it was weird because you could actually see the inside of the booth.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
I was
that's
seeing
there?
Things. I was like, what?
I didn't see that yesterday. And still, even though we had Saturday and Sunday, there's stuff I missed. Like, I'm seeing other people's stashes and stash enhancements, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally missed that. Yeah. Where was that? I wish I would have seen it. But yeah, it's just very big, and if you get the chance to go, I think we'd both recommend it. It's really
Definitely.
Fun. So, should we start with what we got?
Sure.
So, we both got these bags. I think it was only $12, which I think is a bargain. From, was it the 5th floor? And it was like one of the first ones
Vogue,
when you come in.
The main Vogue knitting stand had merchandise to sell.
I love this bag.
It's really
Because, I mean, what more does it need to say? Knit. Period. That's all. That's all.
It's like a badge of honor.
And now we're done. Just kidding.
Yeah, that was what we got, and then we left. So the first stand we went to, which was, Carrie was like, I have to get hedgehog. The whole train ride, we were talking about what are some things you want to get. So we stopped at Do You Knit first with the yarn pimp extraordinaire.
Exciting. I couldn't focus on anything until I got some hedgehog. I kid you not.
I was like, Carrie, I want to stop here. She's like, we have to get to the hedgehog.
So cute.
So we went to Do You Knit first so that she could have the best selection of hedgehog. And it's really interesting because Friday night the marketplace opens, and I was seeing pictures from the Do You Knit Instagram page, and there were piles of hedgehog on the tables. We got there Saturday, and it was still piles, but you could see that it was like 3 or 4 skeins
by Saturday
shallow
afternoon. Even it was
like
way
tumbleweeds.
Like it's crazy how fast it disappeared. Can I show? You got one too.
I'll show mine first.
Okay.
So I picked up this yarn. It is called Sour Cherry.
Good.
And I thought it looked like buffalo plaid, and I kept saying that, and Kara's like, I don't know what buffalo plaid is. It's the big, fat, like, red and black check.
I didn't know it had a name.
I just learned that. But I'm going to make blueberry waffle socks out of this. And I love it.
So it's sock yarn.
From Hedgehog Fibers.
Is it singles? No.
And while we were there, Beta, the dyer, and the genius behind Hedgehog Fibers was at the booth. And Andrea Mowry was there.
Oh, my ear popped.
With she had her Find Your Fade shawl.
She's adorable. Can we just take a moment and think about her style? My ear popped.
I fangirled when I saw her, and I'm typically, when I see people that I know, like even seeing other podcasts, I'm more like quiet and laid back, which would be surprising.
I think we're both really
it's not
introverted.
Shy, yeah. It's weird. I'm normally not an introvert.
I'm definitely
until
an introvert.
I see people and I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm them with my energy.
I definitely get shy.
But anyways, Andrea was really sweet and her style is adorable. And seeing her Find Your Fade, I was like, well, now I have to make one. Yeah, this was what I got at the Do Unit stand. Sour cherry.
So I picked up actually 3 skeins of Hedgehog Fibers.
That picture you have of you doing this, so funny.
Okay, so one of the first things that I knew I wanted to get was a skein to go with this. I got this at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and it's Miss Babs, a gradient set, and it's in the color Pleatus, I think. So it's a really pretty purple gradient, and I've had this since Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I got this to make the shawl called Back to the Fuchsia, and I'll put the info down here, maybe a picture of it, but they used a gray with the gradients, and I knew I wanted to find their version of the gray to make this shawl, and so I picked up this, do you want to hold the gradient with it, to go with this. Yeah. So instead of the gray, this is going to be like my gray.
That's so pretty.
And I think it goes really well. And this color, it's so, what's the word?
Soft.
Yeah, it's soft. It's not overly, I don't know what the word is.
It's not overdone. It's understated.
Right, which I love. And these little pops go with the gradient set. And this colorway is called Urchin. And it's in their Sporty Merino. So I was really happy with that. And I always wanted this colorway called Teacup from Hedgehog. And I don't even know what I'm going to make with this, but I just had to get it. And yeah, I was kind of like, Kelly, should I or shouldn't I? And we are not around Hedgehog a lot. So if we have the opportunity, just load up.
The only hedgehog I have came from Texas because my husband was on a trip and he was like, here, the girl at the yarn store said this was nice.
Yeah. And then my other last skein of hedgehog is called Fly.
I loved this one.
I love this one too. So I'll probably make socks, but I haven't quite
blue.
Decided. I know. It's amazing.
So pretty.
So those are my 3 skeins of hedgehog that I got from Do You Knit. Yeah.
So fluffy. This one is awesome. You should do a sock hat. It would look good with you.
I'll probably do socks. So
yeah. All right. There you go.
Thanks. So next we went to, well, not next. I don't know what order it was, but we went to Neighborhood Fiber Company, and we had been eyeing up the 3-color cashmere shawl sets.
Since the grocery girls did it.
Yeah.
Well, they did the pattern, and so we walked into the booth. Neighborhood Fiber Company, they're carried at Fiberspace, which I went to. It's outside of Arlington, Virginia. I went there a few months ago and loved Neighborhood Fiber Company's yarns. So we saw their booth, and they had these.
So we both got sets to make the 3-color cashmere shawl. We went to it, and we both really wanted one. And didn't we walk away and come back?
So we didn't buy these until the second day, right? No.
It might have been later the same day.
But I kept thinking, I said, well, let's not yet because I want to see if there's something else. Then I just kept thinking about it. And we almost bought the same set. But I said to Carrie, I'm like, we can both knit it and then we'll just share if I wanted to wear that one. And I didn't realize until I got home, one of the colors in here is called Remington. And that's my dog's name.
Oh, I didn't even know they have names.
So this is 3-color cashmere cowl kit, 80% wool, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon.
And we thought these were a really good price, too. They were only $55 for everything you need for the kit.
Capital Luxury Lace Base.
Yeah, so
yeah, we each got a 3-color cashmere cowl set.
That was very exciting.
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay, so on Sunday, we saw the designers panel, which was awesome. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But we sat in front of KT and Mina and Eric and a couple other podcasters and dyers were sitting in the row behind us. And we walked around with KT afterwards, and she's like, I have to help you find this booth that had really great valued yarn for sweaters quantity. And we found the stand, and it was good for you yarn.
I'll show them what I got too.
So I got
we both
1,
got
2, 3.
These actually go together.
They do.
So we both got sweater quantities from this place. What was the place called?
Good for you.
Know? Oh, I have their business card. Good for you. And they're based in Indianapolis.
So I decided I'm going to do a featherweight cardigan with mine.
I'll probably do a featherweight with mine as well. And this is...
They don't have color names. This color is color number 6560.
Well, I was going to say it's 40% superwash merino, 40% baby llama, and 20% nylon. So it is very soft, and it was a great deal. And I don't know, it's hard for me to believe that this is enough to make a cardigan, but...
We looked it up. It's enough.
Yeah, so thanks, Katie, for walking with us.
Yeah.
So it's squishy!
So that was another purchase. And I am glad, the one thing I'm glad I did was I really only purchased yarn that I had a project in mind for. Because when I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I didn't do that. And I ended up with only 1 skein of yarn because I was so distracted by everything and didn't want to overbuy. And then kind of regretted coming home and being like, I have 1 skein of yarn. I did also buy my spinning wheel there, though.
Let's talk about Shirsty Cat. So we found this awesome stand called Shirsty Cat. And if we can find her on Ravelry, we should link her.
I already follow her on Instagram.
Me too! She is a super awesome lady. She has awesome tattoos. Did you notice them? Because I did. She's from Allentown,
which
PA,
is so close to us.
Which is close to us, and I'm from near Philly, so hey girl. She had amazing colorways. Everything in her little shop was so
Wait
good.
until you see them. Okay, we're just gonna do it. So I immediately saw her stand and I was like, I'm gonna find my fade. Because her yarn, she didn't have 1 skein that looked like the next. Even though they were colorways, they're all so interesting and unique. So, and they were great value.
Now, did you pick these all up right away? I can't remember.
On Saturday I got this color, which is, all of mine are her Just Sock base. Oh, her name's Kelly. I knew she had a memorable name. So this base, this colorway, is called Wildfire. I mean, really. So incredible. So I bought this one on Saturday thinking I have some similar yarns at home that I could build a fade with and was just obsessed with the color right away. So I had to get this one.
And I was eyeing up the color that I'll show you in a second. And I don't think I actually picked it up until Sunday. And when I went back on Sunday, I'm very lucky because there was 1 left. And I was like, there was so much more of this. What happened to it? And she said someone had come and bought a sweater's quantity of this color. But they still had 1 left. And it's this. I don't know. I have to put it over here in front of your face.
Really bright.
It's not catching very well, but she said that this reacts in blacklight, right?
Yeah.
So it's her Just Sock. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it's called Blue Raspberry Lemonade.
Just such a good name for that color.
That's the only thing I picked up from her shop, but honestly, I wanted everything that she had. I had to use some restraint, though.
And her display was really cool. She had
how bright it is.
These baskets that were on a pole, so you could just walk around in circles seeing all of these pretty yarns. So we went back to that stand on Sunday with Katie, and I was explaining to her that, you know, I bought this one yesterday, and I really want to build a fade. So she helped me pick out the rest. So this one is the one I showed before. It's Wildfire. This one, ironically, is Pumpkin Spice.
That's perfect.
And this one is Tree Spirit. So I'm kind of got this
That's
nature
a really
theme
good
going.
fade.
I know. So I came home.
Do you want me to hold some?
No, I think I can do this. This is like a challenge. Other people have tried, and I'm going to do it too. I came home, and I found this in my stash. I had this in my stash. It's a hedgehog fibers. I had this in my stash, which is Beautiful Mess Yarnworks. And I had this little nugget that was almost in my blanket.
And if you want to see a good picture of it, check out her Instagram.
Yeah,
I think
just
posted it,
posted
right?
it today.
So
But
check that out.
this is going to be it. And I love it because they're all like autumnal earth tone, not earth tone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes! So there's my fade. And Shirsty Cat is hosting, Kelly, the dyer behind Shirsty Cat, is putting on a fiber festival called, I don't want to get the name right, so I'll say
it's
it and then
April.
we'll fix it. I think it's the Steel City Fiber Show, but she's curating it and hosting it, and it looks awesome. It is in April, but we'll put the information here and probably in the show notes. But if you're from Allentown, you should look that up.
Or roundabout.
Yeah. We're making the trip there.
I really, at first, was like, I don't want to do the find your fade, but now, of course, like everything else, I want to jump on the bandwagon, but I don't know. I was looking at some of my sock yarns and kind of seeing if I could match any, and I don't know. I feel like I'd have to acquire 2 or 3 more skeins to actually
Well, that's what I like about that pattern. You can do it with 3 or 7 or 4. You don't have to. You just go keep that color into the next section.
Oh.
Yeah, I know some podcasters are only doing it with 4 or 5 colors. And the first few colors, you only use like a 20-gram mini almost. Someone started theirs with a unicorn tail. Okay. Possibilities are endless. I bought a sweater's quantity of... Well, I guess I could take it out.
We were at this...
Oh,
I don't think you should,
I
because you're going to leave some somewhere.
On Instagram, obviously throughout the weekend, and one of my friends who lives in Florida messaged me, and he's like, you have to find my friend. She owns Woodstock Wools. You have to go meet her. And so we went over to their stand, and they sell bags of sweaters quantities of yarn, obviously.
For really cheap prices.
Yeah, for a nice value.
It was very weird, though, because everything is, like, thrown together, so women were, like... scrounging to find what they wanted.
Pinata.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was really affordable, and for my first sweater, I definitely wanted something that I could play around with a little bit. But anyways, we met her, and she was really sweet and nice. But I bought, this is Plymouth Yarn Encore.
Do you remember her name? Was it
Suzanne? I want to say
Wendy. I said Suzanne, you said
Carol. Wendy.
Those are all very different.
Anyways, so this is going to be a boxy sweater. And that was not the last thing, but all my yarn.
On Sunday, we went to the Green Mountain Spinnery.
Oh. Their yarn was amazing.
Look at this, you guys.
It's so
also,
rustic in the best way.
You can't smell it, but just imagine that it smells very rustic and cheapy.
We were with Eric, and he was smelling them, and I looked, and must have had a weird face on. He's like, what, you don't smell your yarn?
Oh my gosh, we totally smell our yarn. So this is the gray rag colorway. Trying to see. It's 100% American wool, 2-ply worsted, and I got 2 skeins for a very specific reason. They had cabled boot cuffs. Would you call them cuffs?
For hunter boots, like for rubber rain boots.
I don't have those, but I'll make it work somehow. So that's what I'm making and
so good.
So these have a very specific purpose. So I had to be okay with getting them. So I'm really excited about that yarn because it's fabulous.
Yes.
And
Green Mountain Spinnery, and they're in Vermont,
which is pretty cool.
Putney, Vermont.
I also got... We stopped at the Mochi Mochi stand, and it was pretty exciting because the author of the Mochi Mochi books was there, and it was a little bit of a fangirl moment, but we didn't get a picture with her.
Nope.
But they had a whole bunch of little kits to make the Mochi Mochis, and I think there were 2 for 10 or 2 for 20. So I got the Tiny Walrus kit. I am so excited.
So cute.
And I got the tiny alpaca kit. So it comes with everything you need. It comes with the little yarns. It comes with the stuffing. And she also gave me a little Nomi pin.
So cute.
Button. So, and actually what I want to do this year is make a lot of little mochi creatures and give them out at the office. Like, I think when my colleagues aren't at their desks, I'm just going to, like, place it there. And then they'll come back to it, and I think it'll be fun.
Adorable.
So, that's, and I got way more than you did. Let's be honest.
So.
I got a couple more things.
Look at it.
Adorable! So, at the one stand, they had these, they're actually cards, but I'm planning on just hanging it up in my cube at the office or framing it. So they had goats and they had
dogs and cats and everybody
sheep
wearing knitwear. They were adorable.
Really adorable.
They had a lot of really cute notions at their stand too.
And if you're curious, this is the artiste. And then one more thing.
And then
I know. I got this cute little thing. This is also from Green Mountain Spinnery. It's one of those things that I saw and just had to pick up because
those are great souvenirs. Like, you don't often need a needle gauge, but they're cute to have because they're always interesting shapes and nice souvenir.
Do we want to talk about the yarn toss?
Yeah, on Sunday before the designers panel, people were talking in front of us. They're like, oh yeah, they do a yarn toss.
So, yeah, we were there solely for the designers panel, and the lady next to me was like, I'm trying to see what this yarn toss is about. And we were like,
I was like, okay.
Yarn toss? What?
So they came out with these giant tubs of yarn and just started counting down, and all of a sudden yarn was flying everywhere.
They were throwing it into the audience.
It reminded me of when you go to sporting events and they like shoot t-shirts out into the audience.
That's exactly what it was
and
like.
people were losing their minds.
We were standing up and like trying to catch it, and we were way in the back, so we didn't think anyone would come to us, but it did.
So Rowan is one of the main sponsors of this event. So they were throwing mostly Rowan yarns, and I got this one, which reminds me of Fresh Cut Grass. It's 100% wool, doesn't have a color name.
Doesn't it?
No, mine doesn't. But anyways.
I guess mine doesn't either.
It's a 100-gram ball. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But it was free, and it was like a trophy, because I grabbed it. Quite a few of them hit me in the face. The one lady behind me had her hair like in my ponytail, trying to grab yarn.
I feel like I was batting a lot. Like I almost caught one.
I just wanted to hit them down to the floor so I didn't get hit in the face.
And I got these. I caught a different one, and I traded with Mina so that I have 2 lavender colors. So I don't know. I could do a shawl. I could do a hat. Mm-hmm. I could make some baby sweaters.
You could do a cowl and a matching hat, even.
Mittens. Oh, the possibilities.
Leg warmers.
That's true. Good point.
Very cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very exciting way to start. It was interesting because the panel, all of the speakers on the panel were very well-spoken, but it was really low-key and relaxed. My favorite quote was from Joji Locatelli. She said, "You have to knit for the size you are, not the size you want to be. And if that's what's holding you back, then you're knitting for the wrong reason." And it was really interesting to me because I have the hardest time shopping at commercial stores for clothes because I'm not like an average size. I'm really tall, I'm heavy chested, and then I kind of do like this thing. So it's hard for me to find clothes, and I have always waited to knit garments because I'm afraid they're not going to fit. So I took her advice, and I'm casting on all the sweaters for my size.
Yeah, I think as women, I don't want to like group all women into the same category, but I think a lot of times we do that, like we want to be a certain size.
Yeah, you buy clothes that don't fit because you think someday they're going to fit. Or
like if you're a size 10, get size 10. Get what looks good on you and don't worry about the number kind of thing. So, and it was really awesome to see all of these amazing designers. Yeah. Like Michelle Wong was there and Joji, and it was really, really
Bristol
cool.
Ivy was there.
There were, basically what they did was kind of a question and answer. So the moderator would ask them questions and they'd kind of go down the line and answer. So it wasn't very long, but it was pretty cool to listen to. The thing that I liked, I don't remember which one said it. You might remember. But she said, you want to find that kind of happy balance of, am I knitting this because I want to knit it? or because I want to wear it, and you kind of want to find the in-between. I'm knitting this because I want to knit it and I want to wear it. So I really liked that.
That was Bristol Ivy that said that.
Yeah, and they also said, if you're knitting something that doesn't quite work, don't be afraid to take it out. Like, it's just knitting, and if it's not fun, then why are you doing it?
And the other, in that same answer, she said, the best part about knitting is at the end of the day, if you hate it and take it apart, you still have the materials. You're left with string and 2 sticks. It's not like you do a painting and you mess it up and, like, you've not necessarily ruined the canvas, but you have to go out and get something new. With knitting, you can take it out and you still have the yarn and the needles and you can start over. And it is so awesome. It is
stressful, like, starting over, but
it was great to hear that
we have to be more relaxed about that.
People that are that renowned in the knitting world and have this immense amount of talent are like, yeah, I mess things up all the time and rip them out and start them over, or knit something and hate it and have to take it apart. So when people say, like, oh, we love that you guys talk about your mistakes on your podcast, I'm like, well, we do it because the mistakes sometimes happen more often than the really nice finished objects. But to hear Michelle Wong say, like, yeah, when I mess something up, I take it out. I'm like, oh, okay. It, like, gives you permission to not be a prolific knitter.
Right. Yeah, so that was awesome.
That made the whole weekend. And just that half an hour panel.
Yeah, I was feeling a lot better on Sunday. If you watched our vlog, I am so sorry about my crazy faces. On Saturday, I was feeling really crummy, and at one point, Kelly and I went out into the lobby to, like, take a breather and have a snack, and
I did not think you were going to get up off the floor. I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down, and I look over, and Carrie was just like...
I wanted to be in bed so bad that day.
Some water, and...
Kelly got up, like, 20 minutes later and was like, let's go! And I'm like...
It was rough sailing for her.
It was rough on Saturday, but I felt so much better Sunday, thankfully. And I'm so glad I went. It was, we had paid for our train tickets, and so I still went. But
we did a little bit of sightseeing on Sunday. Saturday night when we left, we got back to my sister-in-law Caitlin's apartment at 7:30, and I went from the front door to my suitcase and put my pajamas on.
We both got in our pajamas
immediately,
like, boom.
And it was so funny because they live the New York City lifestyle.
They're young girls.
Yes.
Going out.
Like 24, 25 years old, getting ready to go out.
At 9:30 p.m.
9:30 at night.
Kelly and I are in our pajamas.
Carrie made the funniest
on
comment.
The couch.
She was like, I feel like we're watching our parents get dressed to go out. We're waiting for our babysitter.
Yeah, that's
they
what
were
it felt
trying
like.
Different dresses on, and they have
putting
these
on jewelry,
huge heels. Her roommate works in the fashion industry, so she has a ton of clothes, and they're trying jewelry on. They're like
shoes,
and there
and
I
we're
am,
on the couch like half asleep.
And the second they left, I looked at Kara, I was like, oh my god, thank god we can go to bed now.
We literally went to bed so early Saturday.
I was so tired. But Sunday we had a little bit more energy. Carrie was feeling better. So we did some sightseeing and navigated the city and ended up at David's Teas. That's good. That's a great shot right there.
So I had no idea that David's Tea was in the USA. I see all of our Canada friend podcasters talk about David's Tea, and I'm always super jealous. I thought it was a Canadian thing. Apparently it's not.
I think that's where their home base is.
We don't have David's Tea around here, so Kelly and I were both very excited to find David's Tea. And we both got these mugs.
They're both the color changing mugs. I put a video of mine on Instagram. This is like a VW bus, and when you add the hot water, the windshield clears, and a bear is driving, and then this little blob turns into a bear crawling across the top.
And I got this one. We were both very excited because hers, I think yours was on sale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hers was from Christmas, mine's from Halloween, and so they were both on sale, and they're super awesome. I got this one. It's not in the box anymore, but I just thought I'd show you the box. It's a castle, and when you put the water in, that little pathway appears, and also on the side, all of the houses, it looks like their lights turn on.
That's really cool.
Super cool.
She said it reminded her of Hogwarts, because she was between that one and one that Christmas lights turn on when you put hot water, and I was like, well, you're a Harry Potter fanatic.
I love Harry Potter, and it looks just like the Hogwarts castle, so really happy about that.
We also got some loose teas.
Yeah.
I got Buddha's Blend. It's great. I've had it a couple times.
I got Santa's Secret, which everybody talks about all the time.
From Transitory, loves that one.
Yeah, I'm super excited to try it. I'll have to try it after Whole30 because it does have some sugar in it. I also got 2 more. I'm so excited about this one. This one was on sale also because it's from Halloween, and it's called Witch's Brew.
Cute.
You have to smell it. Smell-o-vision. No?
Does it have chocolate in it?
It has, yes. It has cocoa beans, rooibos, cocoa husk, orange and black candy, sweet blackberry leaves, elderberry flower, safflower petals. And I also got one called Midsummer Night's Dream, and it has a lot of citrusy things and rose petal, and it's delicious, and the tin's in my kitchen, so I don't have that one to show.
So yeah, David's Tea was our other adventure. We did not go to any of the New York City yarn shops just because A, we were exhausted, and B, we had basically spent so much time at Vogue Knitting Live. Like, those shops will always be there when we come back, but we had spent enough
buy
money.
any more yarn. Yeah. So it was good that we didn't go there. We did go to the 9/11 memorial, and you can see footage of that if you want in our vlog. But
that was our wild weekend at Vogue Knitting Live.
It was very fun. We didn't get back until, 11 p.m. on Sunday night?
Thank goodness for Chris, my husband. He drove... The train, it makes no sense. There's a train that goes literally right behind my house.
Yeah.
And it stops in Philly and then carries on to Harrisburg. To get off in Philly, it was one price. And then to go the rest of the way to Harrisburg, it was triple the price to get to Philly.
It was over $100.
So we were like, forget that. We'll just get off in Philly. And Chris agreed to drive the hour and a half to pick us up and the hour and a half home. He does it a lot for the bands he works with.
He spent the day in Philly, right?
No, he told me later that he decided not to.
Oh, so he picked us up from the train. We got off the train in Philly around 9 and drove the rest of the way. So we got home at 11 and thankfully...
Had to go back to work the next day. Well, I did.
I got to sleep in a bit, so...
It was an awesome weekend, and thank you to the viewers that stopped. That was another really special thing. We had people that stopped and said that they watch our podcast, which was really sweet.
Yeah, thanks for being brave and coming up to say hi. Yeah. We know how awkward it feels, so...
Oh, I felt so awkward going up to podcasters I watch, so I know exactly...
Because it's like, you feel like you know them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and then you realize that they can't see the other way through.
Right.
It's a one-way mirror.
Thank you for being brave and saying hi to us. We loved it. Yeah. We loved meeting you guys. So, and I think,
you have some harebrained idea.
Yeah. So, okay.
I'm oblivious. I'm sitting back because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I set this all up. Kelly came over and I was like, Kelly, guess what? So, for our Podiversary, Kelly and I's Podiversary, our 1-year Podiversary, is happening in March. We did our first podcast episode March 20th. And I know you're thinking, Carrie, what's my name? Carrie, you're losing your mind because it's the end of January. It's not even near March. But here's my thinking. We're going to do a 1-year Podiversary swap! Okay, so we're going to do a Podiversary swap. So here's how it's going to work. I'll put the link to the swap below. And we'll also put it in the show notes. So to participate in the swap, what you'll have to do is click on the link, enter your information and your address. So this will be a swap where you'll get matched with someone else, you'll receive their address, and they'll receive your address, and you'll send each other a swap package. So this can include things like a cute note or card, maybe some mini skeins, some teas, any cute little gifty things that you find that you think, oh my gosh, that's adorable and would be fun to receive. I think would be fun to send. I did put a note, I think I put $20, but really, it doesn't have to be that much, or if you find something that you really, I mean, I didn't know what to put for that, so just not a whole lot, but just a cute little gifty package I think would be appropriate. And so the reason that I'm starting it now, or that we're starting it now, is that you have a month to sign up. So by the time today's what, the 21st, by the time we get the episode up, it'll be more towards the end of January. So you have a month to sign up, and please share it with your friends, and if you have a podcast, feel free to share it on your podcast so we can get a lot of swap people, and it'll be really fun. So we're going to close the sign up February 28th, so you have a full month to sign up, and then in March we'll match people, so you'll have a partner in March, and then we're asking that you send out your swap package by the 31st. So you have a month to sign up, you'll get matched, and then you'll have a month to get goodies and send them out. So I think that's an appropriate time frame. So that's why it seems really early, but when you think about it, it does take time. Right, it takes time. So please sign up and be in on our Podiversary Swap. And I think it'll be really fun if we get lots and lots of people from different countries too, and different places. And
one thing that I was just thinking for swaps, somebody, I don't know if I saw this on a podcast or not, but if you have on Ravelry patterns that you favorited, the girls from Get Lit and Knit gifted me this pattern through Ravelry. So that's something that if you are worried about postage in your area or where you're sending it to, I think that would be completely appropriate to look at someone's either wish list of patterns or favorited patterns and gift them a pattern, because they might already have the yarn for it, maybe just haven't picked up the pattern yet. Or
and I think in the survey form that you fill out when you follow the link, I think you can make a note, so you could put your Ravelry name in there. And then if somebody wants